This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group, and your host of Washington Calling, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, we are fortunate to have a distinguished guest, Ambassador KP Fabian. Ambassador Fabian had a very distinguished career in Indian Foreign Service. So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for coming to our show. Appreciated that very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure and
Uh,
privilege.
please tell us a little bit about yourself for our global audience because it goes to all over the world. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Islam. I am from India. I was born in Kerala in a village called Udayamperur, where in 1499 there was a 1599, there was a synod held, uh, presided over by an archbishop from Goa. In other
Oh,
words, Christianity came to Kerala in AD 52. Saint Thomas came there, and I am a Roman Catholic, and I got my name Fabian from my mother's father's name because the second son gets the mother's father's name. I joined the Indian Foreign Service in the last millennium, that is 1964,
wow.
and that first posting was Madagascar, later Austria. Well,
Okay.
coming to your continent where you are, my first posting was as a Deputy High Commissioner in Canada in 1982. I was acting High Commissioner for 2 years during the time of the Blue Star, that is attack on the Golden Temple in Amritsar
Yes.
when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister. And we also had a Kanishka tragedy. And then I moved on to Finland as ambassador, later back in Delhi as Joint Secretary Gulf when Saddam Hussein decided to have a picnic in Kuwait, and we had to evacuate more than 176,000 of our nationals from Iraq, Kuwait. I was a focal point. Then I went to Doha, Qatar, and then to Italy, where I was also the PR, permanent representative to the United Nations. But I want to
Thank you.
add one more point. That is, I
Yes.
was in Iran during the time of the revolution,
During the
76,
yes,
79.
during the Carter administration when the Shah of Iran was there. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for all you're doing and thank you for your leadership. How do you read the appointment of the Foreign Secretary Jay Shankar as India's new foreign minister? He was also an ambassador to the United States and ambassador to China. What are your expectations are, and especially I want you to tell us a little bit about the relation with U.S.-India and also China-U.S. trade relation tensions that we have, U.S.-Iran tensions, India-Pakistan peace process. What he's going to do, all of them.
I personally think it is an excellent appointment because I cannot frankly think of anyone in the BJP, the ruling party, who would have made a better external affairs minister. That's point number one. Point number two is that Jaishankar is a professional, and there is great advantage in having a professional to be the minister. Third point is that in India, I suppose in other countries also, the foreign minister has to take care of not only foreign relations, but also the impact thereof on domestic politics. Now, as regards that, BJP has, Prime Minister Modi has enough other assets to take care of the impact on domestic
Yes.
audience. So, but as regards dealing with the rest of the world, I think Jaishankar is the best choice. But having said that, Jaishankar will work hard to improve relations with the United States, but that's not going to be easy because President Trump only the other day um, took away the preferences, global special preferences for
Yes.
India.
Let's talk about the uh, the Prime Minister Modi's resounding victory, can you shine a light on Modi 2.0 domestic agenda that could potentially include the fact that the unemployment is the highest among the youth? There's a challenge in the climate controls, climate change, and also with the healthcare, and also the infrastructure is the worst that I have ever seen in India. That needs about a $1.2 trillion investment, and in order for them to get the investment, the foreign investors, he needs to reform uh, economy, and there must be some reform. So, can you shed some light on this thing? And also, as you know, the Modi is a charismatic but controversial as well. So he needs to replace fear by hope.
Well, you are absolutely right when you say he is charismatic. In fact, I would say that he is the most accomplished thespian in the subcontinental political scene after Zulfikar Ali Bhutto.
In Pakistan.
And Pakistan, and it is his, ability to reach out to the masses that has got him the votes. But having said that, we should also take note of the fact that his government has used publicity to the maximum, technology to the maximum, has also successfully prevented real information from reaching the people. You mentioned about unemployment, you mentioned about infrastructure. On all that, Prime Minister Modi's government did its level best, and with some success in hiding the fact that unemployment level was the highest in about 45 years. Now, you see,
Right.
but even that was implemented, well, not in the best possible manner. So that is one. And there, the structural problem of the manufacturing sort of declining. There is a deindustrialization of India taking place right under our nose. So, unless Prime Minister Modi is able and willing to tackle that, I don't think there will be much progress in generating employment. I don't think, I'm sorry to say, that so far Modi did not show any sign thereof during his first 5 years. Now, let us expect, let us hope, let us pray that he would do it, but it's too soon to come to any conclusion.
So you painted a picture of the sad and sorry spectacle, right? And
Yes.
the time will tell. I want to talk, kind of shift the gears and talk to you because you are an expert in international food security. How do you rate India's journey in food self-sufficiency, and also shed some light on the fact that the India needs infrastructure to get the farm products to the market, and it turns out that when the fresh product comes into the market, there's not that much infrastructure for them, so that it gets rotted, and which is not a good thing to do for India. So, how can you shed some light on this thing?
Okay, I'll be glad to, because I was a permanent representative to the FAO when the Millennium Development Goal of halving, making it 50% the number of the hungry in the world was adopted. Now it's like this. You see, some people say, especially the middle class in India, oh, we are no longer in the ship to mouth age. There was a time when India was dependent, lamentably dependent on wheat coming from the United States. Now we can
Yes,
even export food. But I
correct.
think it's a wrong way of looking at it, because let me list some facts. Since 1995, almost 300,000 farmers have committed suicide. Now,
My
even this
goodness.
figure is not accurate, because this is a figure from the Crime Records Bureau, which is maintained by the police. That is a SHO, Station House Officer. He sort of, sends a policeman when a suicide takes place and he records it. But this is absolutely inaccurate, because if a woman dies, woman farmer or farmer even, then you see he does not take it as a farmer suicide, because she doesn't own the land. In fact, farmers should include not only those who own the land, but also those who do farming for their livelihood. Okay, so that is first thing. And the government, whether it's the state or the central, always had a tendency to manipulate data. So I personally think much higher than that,
Yeah.
300,000 since 19. Then, about food, 46 million children stunted in India. 25 million children, 26, sorry, wasted. You know, these are UNICEF statistics for 2018. So there is a real problem, and Indian agriculture in a sorry state, because the our output per acre is a land, unit of land
Yes.
area, is rather low. So we have problems, and in between, GM cotton has come in. That has also contributed to farmer suicides. In fact, a holistic agriculture, not only during the last 5 years of the Modi government, but even previously. So India has to pay serious attention to the crisis in India's agriculture and the crisis that is facing the millions of farmers.
How India can gain some of the manufacturing sectors, which is because of the U.S. And China trade tensions going on over here, and also the fact that China has uh, China's labor market is getting expensive, and it's a lot more expensive. Some of the manufacturing sectors has been moved to Cambodia and Vietnam, but can India be beneficiary of that? If so, what they have to do to make that happen?
Okay, but one point about infrastructure which you mentioned, which is very important, and it is possible to take care of it, but successive governments have shown no willingness, because there are these middlemen who go to the farmers and buy from them, and then they send it to the urban areas, and refrigeration facilities are absent. These are things which can be handled. Now, coming to China and United States. And the rest of the matter which you mentioned. Well, these tensions are there. For example, China has consistently refused to let India export pharmaceutical products to China.
Yes.
A Chinese journalist based in India told me that some of the medicines available in India are available in China at a very high price, especially for those who are HIV positive and whatnot, and other areas. And he said that, it is important for the Chinese to get medicines at an affordable price, and importing from India would help. Now, the previous government, Manmohan Singh government, took it up. Chinese said, we'll look into it. In other words, China has been lackadaisical about it. And I personally think that India has not put across its point of view forcefully. In fact, India has to take a more forceful line with China. India has to tell China in plain English this enormous trade deficit, It's about, Chinese exports to India are about twice Chinese imports from India. And Chinese imports from India are more, sort of colonial type
Yes.
of products. India has to tell China in plain English, this is not on. We do not want this to continue, and we have to change this. And I don't think India has done it. I don't think Modi has done it, despite the so-called Wuhan spirit. And I think, yes, I think so-called, I meant it, because there was no spirit. It was mythical.
Thank you very much.
And
Before I close the conversations, which I have 2 minutes to go, is to talk about, can India be friend with the United States as well with Iran, and what's going on with the U.S.-Iran tensions right now? Can India still get the oil from Iran?
I think India should tell the United States privately but firmly, look, not getting oil from Iran will cost us financially a lot. Some estimates are
Very good.
there,
Very good said.
more
Very well
than.
said.
And if you want us to stop buying, compensate us. Naturally,
Right.
United States will say that they can't compensate. Then we should tell them, listen, we are going to buy, and please understand. If you want any sort of a facade of you are giving us another exemption, we shall go with it. But without exemption, we are going to do it. Again, India has to speak in plain English, firmly, discreetly, but with the United States, which India has not done. Modi speaks of his 56-inch foreign policy. Let us see that whether he would sort of, demonstrate that.
So that burden on the shoulder of the new foreign minister to make that happen. Thank you, Ambassador Fabian, for coming to our show, and thank you for watching
Pleasure.
our show. This is Frank Islam wishing you a great week.